Hi, everyone. Welcome back. Did you have time to take the quiz about constellations? Remember to look up and look for them. Try to find them in the night sky, okay? But now we're moving on to the last part of our journey. Did you know that astronomy can show us things that we have never seen before? I'm going to show you some of these things now. And of course, when we're talking about things we have never seen before, we're going to need the help of probes and telescopes. So I'm going to show you now three of the most important of these objects. The first one is a probe, and it's called Voyager. Voyager 1. It was launched in 1977, and it is still in operation today. So it's been around in space for many, many decades. It was part of the Voyager program, and this program had the objective to study the outer solar system or the interstellar space. So the objective of Voyager was to go through all the planets of the solar system, but beyond the solar system into interstellar space. At the moment, it is at a distance of 157.58 AU, astronomic units. And one astronomic unit means 23.574 billion kilometers away. It's very, very far away from Earth now. And as of September 12th of 2022, it is the most distant human-made object from Earth. So we designed it, we produced it, and it's now out of the solar system. It is the furthest object we have ever sent to space. And during its journey, Voyager took amazing pictures. These are some of them. This is a picture of Saturn. The one here on the right is a picture of Europa, one of Jupiter's moons. And mind you that these pictures were taken in the 70s or early 80s. So the qualities of these pictures for that day, this is really good. The one down here is one of the most famous images ever taken by humanity. And it's called the pale blue dot. The tiny blue dot that you see here is actually us. This is the Earth. Carl Sagan, an important scientist back in the 70s and in the 80s, I mentioned here in the second part of the video, remember? He actually gave this idea to NASA. He said, what about if we turn Voyager back to us? Because Voyager was traveling away, taking pictures to the outside. What if we ask it to turn back and take a picture of us? And this is the result. This tiny little thing you can see here is the Earth. So this is the furthest picture that we have from ourselves. The second important object sent to space by humanity I want to show you is the Hubble telescope, of course. It's super famous. It's a telescope that was launched into low Earth orbit, so it orbits around the Earth at a very close distance. It was sent there in the year of 1990, and it is still in operation. It was not the first telescope to be sent to space, but it's one of the largest and it's one of the most versatile. It is famous because it can take beautiful pictures and everything else, but also because it works as an object for public relations. This is how we got to know NASA, maybe for the first time. So the images that Hubble brought back to us brought us close to science and astronomy. The images were being sent to newspapers, to news on the television, and for the first time, we could see images taken from space. This telescope was named after an important astronomer called Edwin Hubble, and it's one of NASA's great observatories into space. The mirror of Hubble had been placed incorrectly when it was sent to space for the first time. So a second mission in 1993 had to happen to fix this mistake. Remember that I told you that mistakes in science are common and are okay. Of course, that billions of dollars were spent, but it's okay to make mistakes. We can fix them. And after NASA corrected this mistake, Hubble was able to send us one of the most important and groundbreaking images we had ever seen. This picture is called the Pillars of Creation. It's a nebula, remember, where stars are born. And the second picture here has a very interesting story. One day, a scientist in NASA asked Hubble to focus at a point in space where everything was black, completely dark. When Hubble took the picture, we could see thousands of galaxies and stars and objects in space. So even in a tiny space that looks dark, that looks empty, Hubble was able to take pictures of the infinity, the quantity of objects we have in space. And the last object I want to show you today is the Webb telescope. It's designed to conduct infrared astronomy. So some of the things that Hubble cannot see because of the waves of light, the infrared technology of Webb can see. So it's like an updated version of Hubble. It's very sensible and it can view objects that are early, distant, or faint when compared to Hubble. This is going to help us with the investigation of many fields in astronomy and cosmology, and its main objective is to check for the first stars and the formation of the first galaxies. So looking into the origins of the universe. And of course, as well, to look for potentially habitable exoplanets. Exoplanets are planets that are out of our solar system. So the Webb telescope wants to find planets outside our solar system that can be habitable. The images of Webb telescope, they are just out of this world. I'm going to show you some. This is the Cartwheel Galaxy. It's a massive galaxy, as you can see, with its wings or arms, and you can also see other two galaxies here. But the important thing to observe about this picture is that we can see many other galaxy formations very, very far away. And this is a close picture of the pillars of creation that I showed you, taken by Hubble. So a very close-up image of one of these pillars. And again, look at the background. Every time you see an image taken by Webb, have a look at the background, because the further we see in the background, it means that the further we are traveling back in time into the origins of space. So again, it's like an updated version of Hubble, because the images that Hubble took, you can look at them much clearer now and with many more details. And I'm going to show you some of these comparisons now. So remember the tiny dark space that Hubble took a picture from? The picture on the left was taken by Hubble, and this is the new version taken from the Webb telescope. So many more details. I want to call your attention for this area here that looks like an empty region, but it's full of formations of stars and galaxies. And this is the Carina Nebula. So again, what Hubble could not see, could not take a picture, Webb can do it, right? So we can see in many different colors with much more detail. And again, in the background, you can see many formations of stars and everything else. Well, I think that's it. It's time for your last quiz to test your knowledge on the probes and telescopes, on the objects we made that were sent to space and that bring us amazing pictures from space. But before you take the quiz, I just want to give you a quick message. Look up. Look at the stars, look at the planets, look up at the night sky, and make your own discoveries. I hope you have enjoyed this journey, and I hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.